Vaughn Muanatua, excuse me, Vaughn, I'm going to get that right, came to America in 1976, is the sixth child in a family of 10. He obtained his Juris Doctorate degree at the San Joaquin College of Law. He works for attorney Paul C. Lowe as his Fresno office manager and paralegal, and he is a planning commissioner for the city of Clovis and sits on other public committees as well. Mr. Muanatua.
My name is Vaughn Muanatua. We spell that for you so that way you will remember it after seeing it one time. M-O-U-A-N-O-U-T-O-U-A. So it kind of just flows, Muanatua. I want to thank all of you for coming today. I want to thank Preston especially, because we were around with the Central Committee when Preston started this. Preston, there's a saying, it was from Mulan, I know they say it to Mulan, but I think it still applies. A flower that blooms in adversity is something special. And during that adversity, you bloomed, you made this event a flower and gem for all of us as conservatives and as residents here. So I compliment you for that, for those of you afterwards who continue. So good job. Some may say the American dream is not alive anymore, but if an immigrant 30 years ago can today take 10 children speaking no lick of English, and all of us be college graduates and professionals, the American dream is truly still alive. I am conservative because that takes time to read. No, please. But we are conservative. Imagine that immigrants coming from the jungles of Laos have the same values as you. Now, conservatism are those ideals of freedom, of God-given rights that this country has written down to protect. And we, even coming from Laos, say, I embrace those same things. That's why I am a conservative. I believe that the opportunities that we have with regards to being able to present to you my views and to be able to be a candidate is truly, testament to the greatness that is America. And I look forward to sharing more about who I am as we move on in this debate. Thank you very much.
On that note, I'll ask the first question, and we will go with Vaughn first. I was speaking with Dr. Haldeman and Mr. Bruce Thornton a moment ago, and Bruce, on getting the news about Linda, said the same question I've asked a lot of people, and that is simply this. Bruce said going to serve as a Republican legislature in Sacramento is like winning a contest to see who gets to pump the septic tank. And I'm going to ask you the same way. Gentlemen, why in the world do you want to be a Republican legislator, in Sacramento? Vaughn first.
It's very simple. If we don't run, the next Einstein legislature, the next Lincoln, will say that's it. Our party is done. That's why we have to run. We run because of the future. We run because of the hope that your ideas, my ideas, the minority idea gets presented. I serve on the Planning Commission, and at the Planning Commission, the minority voice always comes out, those who are in objection. And some say, this is all rigged, this is not good. I said, go find a country where a minority has a voice, where you get to influence your decision makers and say, this is what I stand for. Most people don't always want that the decision be made according to them. They should be heard. And so we, as legislatures, have to make sure your voice is always heard, because we need to ensure that your sons and your daughters will continue where we have gone and where Dr. Linda Haldeman is going right now. That is why we have to run. And some will say, well, when you get up there, you'll be a minority. And I say, well, look at me. Been a minority all my life. I made it through school, made it with all 10 of my brothers and sisters. So what's new? Let's go. Let's win. Let's keep fighting.
What would you do to gain the support of members on the other side of the aisle to vote in favor of conservative issues?
Now, first of all, we have to pray. We have to pray for our country, pray for our leadership. My family became Christians in 1953. It was very simple. 52 missionaries came to the jungles. They said, try this Jesus thing. 7 people in my family died. My grandfather said, let's try this Jesus thing. 53, no one died. Very simple. One of the first families in Laos to be converted. Try converting a whole race. Now almost 50% are Christians. So that's why I say many of us have those values. We need to pray. We really need to pray. Then after we pray, we need to take action. What is that action? To start to talk. Legislatures are people. We need to get to know them. Because that young man, that young woman up there is also a person. So we need to talk and share with them. And if they can't be converted, then we talk to the voters. That's where the power's at. If you talk to any minority, Asian, Latino, African American, you know what they are at the core? Conservatives. We just need to get the message out there. And it takes someone like me to be able to go and say, this is what you believe in. This is why you need to vote someone conservative to protect your rights. And that's why, and that's how we will change, and that's how we will change California around. Because that's the message we need to relay to them. Voters need to be educated, and we must do the hard work of educating. And that's where the conversion will begin, and that's where the transformation will begin in California. Thank you.
Gentlemen, what qualifies you to regulate business in this state and improve business conditions?
Business is the lifeblood of the community, especially small business. That's what, as long as we understand that, then we know we will protect business. Because what happens during tough economic times? It's you. You stay. Why? Because your sons are in the schools. Your daughters are there. And so we need to protect business because we understand that you and I are invested here. And so in order to protect it, my simple answer is take the regulations away. As long as the regulations create for fair business operations, as long as they are for free markets and competition, that's it. That's all we need. Business sort of regulates itself. It doesn't need Sacramento or me creating a new law to tell you how to make money and how to best serve the people that you serve, whether it's a product or a service. You're intelligent enough. You don't need, someone like me to listen to some idea about something and say, that's it. For example, like CEQA. We need to really reform that. It is for information sharing. But what has been used is anybody can sue anyone under CEQA and stop you from developing something. And then we have to also follow NEPA. And so which one is it? We have so many so that you can't even operate your business. Makes it tough. So we need to, if we can go up there and scratch out 10 laws per year to help business, then I think I didn't have to write anything. I protected you more than you ever wanted. So that's what I would do.
Why should I vote for you over the other three candidates that are seated at this table?
California has been under Democrat majority for 30 years. The Republican Party or conservatives, do we want to be a majority? The difference is clear. We need to reach diverse populations. Latinos, Asians, African Americans, they are conservative. And if you put someone like me in office, we will start the first domino in converting more and more minorities to become a party of the majority. And then we will start to change Sacramento. I am a conservative or a Republican, not because of the color of my skin, but because of the ideals that I have inside of me. And that's the same with everyone else. We need to share these ideals with everyone else. If you want a Republican majority, I am that first one. And we will get there. Because if you look at everything else, the four of us are pretty similar overall, philosophically. And so the only difference is how do we get a majority again? And that is through reaching out to diverse communities. And I will be able to do that tomorrow. And so I appreciate your assistance, I appreciate your help, and most of all, I appreciate your vote. I've enjoyed being on the campaign trail so much because I've got to meet people of all races, of all colors, of all backgrounds. And when you share our ideals, they embrace them. Thank you.
Gentlemen, I'm going to ask you for a 1-minute answer on this, but the issue is part-time legislature. If elected, would you be okay with a part-time legislature in Sacramento, and would you actively work towards that goal?
The answer is clear. I have not yet held many of your hands, shaken your hands today. But I want to do that. The only way I can do that is if I am here in the district, so I can meet you and hear your story and see what is of a concern to you. The other reason is I have a family. My father's getting old, he's here. So the more time I get to spend with him and to see, my children grow, to see him before the Lord takes them, is also something very, maybe selfish, but also very reasonable. And so simply, of course, only 4 states, we're one of the 4 states who does it. Why can't we join the rest and just have part-time? I think it's easy. And I'm not doing this for the money. I'm not doing this for, name. I really am doing it for all of you. And so the best way to do it is to be connected with you and to go walk and to go see you, every one of you. And that's the only way we can do it, is to have a part-time legislature. Thank you.
Going back to the part-time legislation question, I was talking with Tom McClintock on this last weekend, and I've talked to a few other people that have served in, it's interesting. Both of those people, or some of the people I've talked to, talked about term limits and how a number of years back everybody said, yeah, we're on board for term limits, and yet every one of those people I've talked to about that, like Tom McClintock and others, have said that was a bad mistake. Said we regret making that decision now because it's hurt us in the long run. The point that he brought up about part-time legislation is this: who is being part-time? The governor, the Supreme Court, or the most closely people associated with the legislature, which is one of you that would be representing us. And his point was, it's the people that represent us are the ones that are being part-time. Who else is now yet full-time? So I'd like you to comment on that, because he's basically saying, look, that's our only defense. Sounds good on paper, but the reality of it is, the governor's not part-time, courts aren't part-time, we've just cut off one of our legs, and it can harm us in the long run. So it'd be interesting to hear your comments on that.
If I could add in as well, the permanent class, the bureaucracy, is also not full-time.
The simplest answer is, we have to start here. And if we don't boldly stand for something like this, then we can't even dream of reaching where Mr. McClintock is talking about. And so when there are legislations that embraces our beliefs, we need to take it. And if it shows progress, then that's when we move it forward. Because if we want to take it all, sometimes we may lose. For example, it's encompass all the legislatures to all state workers, whatever the decision is. We may even lose, so now we have a bigger fight than what we had hoped for. So part-time legislature is where it must begin. I've always said, we keep sending better people up there with part-time, then we will send better, hopefully, Democrats, then better independents, and better Republicans. And then with us passing less laws, it'll affect you the least, which is what we all want. Thank you.
Thanks very much. I appreciate each of you stepping up and being willing to serve this district. Whoever is chosen is an incredibly blessed person. I consider the 3 of you friends, and I very much look forward to meeting the 4th. My question to you is this: over my term in office, I have been offered a great deal of bright, shiny objects. Can you tell me, and so far, there's been no price that's been enough for me to want to say I'm for sale. How do you know you don't have a price? Each of you.
First of all, thank you, Dr. Holman, for your service to our district. You are my Assemblyperson. I want to thank you for your excellent service these past 2 years. And it's sad to see you step away, but it also gives us a chance to try it out. No, my answer is simple. I value honesty. I value being honest to yourself and to your constituents. Because ultimately, do you know what we answer to? To God. We must be able to live with the fact that I told you something or I said this, and that I can sleep at night and make sure that the Master can be satisfied with what I have said, and that I will have to answer to him ultimately. You may come to me first, but in the end, I'm going to have to answer to him as well. And so that is important, and that is why, I believe there can't be a price, because you are the ones who will hold me accountable. And lastly, what also helps is solid family and solid footing within the district.
One more question, that will be you.
Yeah, mine's real quick. Just shift gears. I'm curious on what you stand on social issues. I know money is a big ticket issue right now, but it's still important, what you believe on issues like abortion and the definition of marriage. And maybe one quick reason why you hold those beliefs too.
Can we just keep it to abortion and definition of marriage?
My answer is simple. I'm biased because I was once a fetus and I survived. And so I believe in life. Life is precious. It's given by God, and so we need to protect it. That's my simple answer.
Anybody care to challenge Mr. Boatua on his claim? Last call. All right. Doctor? No? Okay. All right.
My fellow Americans, I always wanted to see them. Thank my parents for being here, bringing me to America, and also for the opportunity to present in front of you. I come with no consultants, nothing. I just come as myself. I come with my heart, I come with my beliefs, and I hope that today, forgive the emotions, it's great to be an American. But I hope today, when you leave, that you choose with your heart. Not choose what someone says, that person. Not choose, that, potentially, that's the viable one, that's the not viable. But you look inside and have the courage to say, that's the one. That's the, gentlemen, so that's the guys who will fight for me. That's the gentleman who will believe in what we believe in and who will stand. So I challenge you to be courageous and to say, yes, my vote is for that gentleman whose name I can't pronounce. and I thank all of you for the opportunity to be able to present in front of you, because this is something very humbling. Because before you are a candidate, it's hard to get people to invite you or to even talk to people. You say you're a candidate and they're like, come here, come talk with me. And so I think as I go back into my nonprofit world, I'm just going to keep saying I'm a candidate so that way I can talk to everyone. Because we're doing the same thing. We're asking for money, we're asking for votes, we're asking for support. But lastly, I just want to say I thank all of you for Saturday, such beautiful weather, for you to be here. You care. And that we can pass this on to your sons and your daughters. We can keep doing that forever. So I appreciate your vote, and I challenge you once again, follow that heart.
Vong, we are really proud of you in the city of Clovis being on our planning commission. You've done a great job. And I think that you've had the opportunity to really know what it means when you say, I am proud to be an American, or my fellow Americans. You have a wonderful story, and I'm glad that you were sharing it and have the opportunity to share it here.